I decided to do that thing where I start it without Jerry, even though he's not there. I mean, he's there, but he's not there. Yeah, so this is how I actually got the Jay's a Dickhole name going, because I started a stream once while he was going to the bathroom, except today he's actually just getting coffee. Whatevs. So, yeah, we'll wait for him to get back, I guess. I forgot to put a thumbnail up. A thumbnail. I forgot to put a thumbnail up.
I can hear you in the headphones from the bathroom.
I totally started the stream without you, don't worry.
You didn't.
I did. Remember, that's how I got the I'm a dickhole, Jay's a dickhole thing.
Are we live right now?
We are live right now, yes.
No!
You weren't even here.
You're a dick.
That's what happens. That's what happens. Where is the skinny guys? What skinny guys? There's no skinny guys around here. Skinny guys die hungry.
They do.
Anyway, why don't you... I'm going to go ahead and roll that intro real quick, and I'm also going to hit up the social medias with the stream. You guys should all do the very same thing, because we're back after, what, 4 weeks?
We have been starving our audience, Jay. Starving them.
Yeah, leave them wanting more. The only problem is they went somewhere else to get it.
As long as somebody benefited from it, that's all that matters.
Yes. I think Paul and Kyle benefited most, actually, from it.
Dude, I forgot these headphones have a volume dial on them. I'm all wondering why I can't hardly hear you. Oh, man, I'm such a dork. I shouldn't let me near a computer.
With that, I'm rolling the intro.
Do it.
It's already going.
Welcome to TechTalk, where Jerry is reporting from a hotel at PDX LAN in Portland, Oregon. Please don't DDoS me. I only got a megabit.
You could be DDoSed with like one packet.
You could actually DDoS me just by pinging me. Like, you could just drop out to the command line and just ping me, and you'd completely screw me over.
Someone asked if I'm still cycling. Yep, I'm still hitting the bike. Actually, I went back on the bike a couple weeks back, and I've been adding like anywhere between 2 miles a day. I've been adding, I started at 22, and then it was 24, and then 26. So every day I'm adding 2 miles. I want to kind of like go farther right off the bat, but I know that that's going to lead to injury and fatigue. So slowly but surely.
Yeah, I've been working out pretty hard too, Jay. Every day, eating healthy, and yeah.
I think someone's sending you some packets because you're like. Oh,
did I forget to disable to give out my IP address on Skype? I probably did.
Guys, can you please not DDoS Jerry right now? It doesn't take much.
Yeah. This is not exactly a feat. If you DDoS me, you're actually doing me a favor, because then I could just go over and play games next door where there's a gigabit LAN.
Oh, I was going to ask you. I want to hop on and play. You're gonna be live streaming over there, right?
Yeah.
I want to hop on and play some games. What are you gonna be playing tonight?
I will play anything you want, Jay. Literally, I will bend over just for the opportunity to play with such a pristine person as yourself.
Let's play that there Leisure Suit Larry MMO.
Ooh, I heard that's a good one.
Somebody needs to make that.
Did you know the answer to every single question to break the copy protection on Leisure Suit Larry is Spiro Ignu? I learned that when I was a kid.
No, I didn't know that. I had
like the answer every third question it asked you, the answer was like Spiro Ignu. It was like, who's the vice president during something or other. I don't know politics, but I knew that.
I had one of those old school cheater books that you had to use like that special highlighter to reveal the answer. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, yep. I had one of those. That taught me how to get in past it, because I was only like 7 or 8 playing Leisure Suit Larry, not understanding what STDs were and stuff. But anyway,
dude,
it's a game about life.
It is. It is a game about life, and it teaches you a lot about prophylactics. Remember, that was like every other mission in the game was getting a condom, and if you didn't get a condom, your penis would explode, and you'd have to start over.
And if you forget to take the condom off, the cop comes and beats the crap out of you.
That's right. I remember that. Like, if you had sex with the hooker that was over the bar. And it's funny because like this is the irony. Parents never, back then they didn't have ESRB ratings. Remember? Mm-hmm. So my parents actually bought me the game because on the front it just shows a guy in a leisure suit with like a yacht in the background, and he's like drinking a martini or something. So my parents let me get that game. I took it home and played it, and they had no idea that I was like in there playing that game, and I like hid it from them. Like, oh, are you enjoying your game? I'm like, yeah, it's really fun, Mom.
Oh man. I think it's funny though. Like whenever this is a weird subject to start on, huh? Leisure Suit Larry. But anyway,
not at all.
When you would finally get lucky and hook up with someone, like the little sensor, the black square would start jumping up and down on the bed.
Yep.
And it always took like 15 seconds before you were done.
I remember I used to always look for the hack, like on the bulletin board systems back then. There used to be a hack floating around you could download that would disable the black bar, but it turned out to be a myth, and it was just a virus. So I kept downloading a virus to my computer because I wanted to get rid of the black bar. Does that make me a raging perv?
It makes you male, I guess.
Yeah, I
Something
think
like
that's
that,
fair.
So why don't you? I see a lot of people going, "Where is Jerry?" So why don't you tell everyone where you are and where I'm not?
Well, I am here in a hotel room that has 2 beds, and unfortunately, only one of them is going to be occupied because Jay could not join me for PDX LAN 27 here in Portland, Oregon.
I wanted to. I wanted to road trip
Yep.
up there in Disney and everything, but
Dude, it's a big one too. There's 540 in attendance in this one. That's 100 more than the one you attended.
whatever.
Yeah.
I attended 2. Shut up.
Oh, you did attend too. That's right. But I don't think
I
you did
attended
one of them.
February and November last year.
Yeah, because this is a 4-day. The one you attended, both you attended were the
No.
3 days, right? Because this is my first 4-day. I don't
No.
remember ever coming on a Thursday.
No, they were 4 days. Just I left on Sunday last time. I left on Sunday last February. November was the small one.
Oh, did it go into Monday? Was it Monday that it rolled over into? Because
Yeah,
this
it went
one's
into-
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, the last one was
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah,
Don't you
I've
remember?
never stayed 4 days.
Don't you remember taking me to the airport?
Yeah, but we weren't here we were just here for the last 3 days of that, right?
Yeah, you went home. You went home.
Yeah, I had to go home. That's right.
No,
Oh,
no,
no, I
you-
remember now.
You're mixing them like all together. You're mixing the one when Hannah got sick up with the one that I was there.
Oh, I am. But the one I dropped you off at, didn't I go home that same day after dropping you off, or did I stay here again another night?
You stayed another night because I watched you live streaming the next day.
Were you here only 2 days, or were you here 3 days? Because I don't remember being here 4 days.
I was there Friday, Saturday, and went home Sunday. I came.
Wow, so
I
I'm here
flew
for
to you
4
on
days.
Thursday.
Holy shit! I don't remember being here 4 days, man. Wow,
Yeah, you were.
crazy.
See?
Well, I'm doing another 4 day. This time I'm gonna do a lot of live streaming. I'm gonna do a lot of videoing. I'm gonna just have fun. Yeah.
I
Although
wish I was
Jay's
there.
not here to sabotage, so that's kind of sad.
The
I'll have to-
sabotage
I'll
was
have to
always
just-
fun, especially when the computers were going to be right next to each other again.
It was. I was gonna seriously take when you weren't looking. I was gonna put a webcam like under your desk, pointed right at your junk, and just live stream that 4 hours a day and get
You'd always see where my one hand is,
I was always gonna get all the monies, Jay. All
like
the monies.
Al Bundy. Not even doing anything perverted, just like Al Bundy, sticking it in the pants.
Yeah, I'm not even joking, guys. Right now, I am in this tech talk with 1 megabit of bandwidth from the freaking Holiday Inn hotel thing, using a Zoom H4n as my audio interface for my Sennheiser Game Zero headset because we couldn't get the internal audio boost high enough on the microphone. But now I sound good. Okay? Do I sound sexy?
Oh
I know I
yeah,
don't
that's
look
right.
that great.
That's right. You're using Game Zeros. That's right. I remember now. Those required a bit of ohms. They had a lot.
Oh
of
yeah,
ohms.
yeah. These take that. That's why I thought it was kind of weird that they were marketing these towards like PC gamers, but they need like amp.
Aren't those
They need-
aren't
they need
those
the amp
like
on.
200 something like that?
I think they are 200 ohm actually.
Yeah, because they were like that was Sennheiser's kind of an attempt at an audiophile grade headset.
Yeah, I think they were going up against like the MMX 300s, like Barodynamic and stuff like that, like the stuff that was higher powered. But it sucks because like on laptops and stuff like that, you need a dedicated amp to drive them, or and you can't do it off an onboard sound card. Like I'm gonna have to use this Zoom H4n as my audio interface in the building over there too, because I guarantee you the Realtek onboard audio isn't gonna be able to drive these very well.
Everyone says I'm so bright. Now, the room doesn't really have any decorations going on, and everyone says I've got such bright white walls. They're actually not white. You can see down there with the baseboard, the wall is actually more of it's kind of an off-white. I don't know how to explain it.
I don't even know what Jay looks like because I can't watch the stream because I'm using every ounce of that 1 megabit just to upload my image.
Well, I could make a fat joke, Jerry, but I won't because I love you.
I'm not fat. I'm just big boned because I'm fat.
I used to tell people I was very large and abnormally squishy boned. That's what I used to tell people. Oh man, yeah. Yeah. Depending on what you're playing, maybe I'll hop in tonight and play something with you.
Hey, have you played GTA 5 online at all?
Yeah, like a lot.
Is it
And
is
then-
it good? Like I played it a little and I couldn't understand it. Like people kept inviting me into like heists and stuff and I joined and then it'd say the party was full and then I'd just drive around and shoot and crash into random people that are trying to go places and then
Well,
they
the
get mad at me.
heists are how you get money, and money is how you buy, your garages and your cars and your guns and all that sort of stuff. And then the heists give you levels, and levels are required to buy guns and things. So you just have to keep.
Oh,
doing
I
them.
tried to check the live stream and I think I just like biffed my bandwidth. Oops.
No, your upstream was fine, but your down is garbage.
Okay. He's not
Anyway.
a fatty, he's fluffy.
So we talked about something a while back.
We
that I wanted.
did?
Yeah, we talked about a lot of things, but we're gonna talk. We talked about something specifically about 6 months ago that I want to bring up again
Let's hear it.
because it is relevant. So I asked you as a developer if you thought Apple was just bullshitting or not Congress, but the Supreme Court system when they were being subpoenaed for cracking devices for helping the Justice Department.
Correct.
And I told you I don't believe it's possible to have an encryptor without a decryptor of some sort.
Correct.
And Apple is still saying they can't do it. They can't do it because the San Bernardino shooting suspect had an auth device which was recovered, but it's locked.
Yeah.
And the FBI and the Justice Department wants to break into this device. And they have subpoenaed Apple, and Apple went to court and pled their case about why they can't and / won't do it. And remember, I made the argument last time that you know as well as I do, Apple can break into this device, but they want to stand on the moral grounds that they won't, because then it's an invasion of privacy for all people.
I agree. Yes.
That's really their stance on this, and that finally came out in a letter that Apple put out today on its own website to all iPhone and iDevice users, urging them to publicly discuss this because they feel that this is an unprecedented moment regarding the invasion of privacy from the government. Where okay, fine, they get a court order, they get a search warrant, and Apple then has to start getting into the business of cracking devices. I kind of want to play devil's advocate here, where being even close to the event that happened on December 2nd, which led to this second appearance of Apple in court. I kind of can see both sides of this. I can see why the Justice Department is looking at that device going, there could be information on here that could lead to the stopping of future events that may have been in communication with this couple.
It's possible, yeah.
But at the same time, I can see where Apple goes, if we do it this once, then every time someone feels that someone is on the NSA watch list or something, then Apple's just going to be subpoenaed every single time and become the business of cracking devices nonstop at the control of the U.S. government. So where do you draw that line?
Well, the problem is you end up making Apple a liar too, which is something that they don't want to become.
They already are, though. Everyone knows Apple's a liar.
I mean, everybody knows that they can do it, but the second that they actually break it and it's actually done and it's concrete, people are going to be like, okay, there is no longer any doubt at all. Apple can easily recover this data. And the thing is, it's not actually an easy recovery. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and in order for them to recover the data, they would have to actually rewrite a custom version of the operating system using the super key, their main private key in the operating system. They'd have to build a custom version of the operating system and deploy it to that phone to recover and be able to read the data. Because as soon as you get your phone and you do the swipe thing on it or whatever, you basically retie the encryption to your PIN. So there's no so every phone does have a unique private key. It's just for them to use the master key, they would have to basically rewrite they'd have to create a custom version of the OS and deploy it to that phone to be able to use that master key, because the production OS that's deployed to the phones, they cannot use it. That only uses the key that's on the phone that you create when you log in with your account.
But that's what makes Apple a loser. Well, I think many would argue that they are, but a liar is because of the fact that Tim Cook stood up there in the Supreme Court and said it is impossible. And I know that they've touted that your fingerprint and your Apple Pay stuff is all encrypted into the actual A8 processor and not possible to be cracked or recovered. But if it can, and Apple's being ordered to do it, okay, let's say they really can't. Okay, let's reverse this. Let's say
devil's advocate. Yeah.
Let's say they truly can't crack this, but the government has now ordered them under judicial order to do it. What do you do? What do you do when the government doesn't believe that you can't?
That's a good question. I know, it's like somebody holding the gun to you and be like, make the sky purple, make the sky purple. You're like, I can't do it, I can't. And then they blow your brains out.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. So what do you do, right? I mean,
honestly, the only way I think the Supreme Court could actually step in and order Apple to do that and then punish Apple if they didn't do it is if they could 100% unequivocally prove that you can crack the operating system, which means that they would have to analyze all of the source code of the operating system, the private keys. The government would have to do a lot of its own work and dig through a lot of layers of the onion, because you can't just say somebody's guilty. You can't just say, hey, Apple, you're guilty because you refused to recover this data. They have to be able to prove that Apple was capable of doing it and didn't within a shadow of a doubt or whatever.
Have you followed any of this on the mainstream?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. Not recently, though.
Did you see that McAfee was like, give me the phone, I'll do it?
Who?
McAfee.
Oh, McAfee said that?
Yeah, McAfee was like, give me the phone, I'll do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
like McAfee, like the antivirus creator.
Right.
Like, oh my god.
But we know that's also that's
brilliant.
also the founder's name, McAfee.
Yeah, no. I
Yeah.
figured it was. That was the connection that I made. But I was like,
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
But wouldn't it be hilarious if he took it and was like, done, here you go.
Now that's the thing. This is actually a slippery slope. If Apple broke the device to get the data, that would make Apple look bad. But if somebody else broke the encryption without Apple's help, that makes them look like completely incompetent liars. Nobody would ever use or trust their products again, which I don't know why people do anyways. I mean, iCloud got broken into. Everybody's wiener pics got stolen.
Oh, yeah. Remember, that's how everyone saw Jennifer Lawrence's nips.
Yeah, I'm sure like there's got to be like a dozen pictures of my wiener out there on the internet somewhere. I mean, so
easily.
it's just, yeah, I mean, I store it in the cloud. I don't want to keep that on my phone.
I don't even have iCloud. I just updated my phone today to 9.2, and I was still on 8 because I didn't even. I was starting to have some stability issues with my phone, so I updated it today. But I think it's funny how when I update the phone, it's just like Windows 10. It's like, oh, you want to use iCloud? Oh, look, you've used this credit card in the past. You want to set up Apple Pay? Oh, look, you want to, and it's like forcing you to do all this stuff that you've got to opt out on if you don't pay attention.
No, I disagree with all that crap. It really pisses me off that everybody's going this route of and they're very deceiving in how they do it too. That was my biggest argument about Windows. People think that I'm just butthurt because they laid me off, and I am butthurt that they laid me off. But that's not why I'm mad at the privacy issues. I'm mad at the privacy issues because Microsoft used to be a huge proponent of privacy. They used to always say that they wouldn't give up shit to the government. They're not going to hand things over without proper paperwork and due process.
That was the old way, Jerry.
And now they just give it to everybody. It's like, I'm pretty sure you could go to Redmond and just walk up to any of the buildings and like somebody walking out the door and be like, hey, can you go into your little Watson database and like give me a dump file from so-and-so IP address? And they'd be like, sure, be right back. And they just like walk in the building and get it to you. I mean, it's getting that bad. And that's what I don't like. And those little things that they're putting at the bottom of the screen, it's like, you have to update to Windows 10, and then they remove the cancel button, and then they make it so it seems like it's implied you have to do it, and then they scare you off of Windows 7 saying it's a piece of shit and it's unsecure. All those tactics are to lead you to an operating system that gives them control where they didn't previously have it.
Right.
And that's what makes all that shit really suspect and pisses me off the most. But the video I made on it, though, is hugely positive return on that. I mean, a few people that are hurt are just Microsoft fanboys or Microsoft employees. Like, I got banned by like 3 Microsoft executive marketing people on Twitter. They like literally blocked me because they were so butthurt I made that video.
Wow. I didn't know there were Microsoft fanboys. I'm not even being a dickhole.
Executives?
I'm not even being a dickhole. I just didn't know that Microsoft had its diehard followers like that.
I'll be honest. There was a time where I was, Jay. It wasn't during the last 2 years I was at the company. Probably why I got laid off. But I'm just saying I've been there.
But is it one thing to have career pride versus being just a user that's a complete fanboy?
It depends on who's looking at it, right? I'd say the average user would see them both as being one and the same. Mm-hmm. Because by you having company pride, you're basically giving your company a wide berth, if you will, to make mistakes and stuff like that. Whereas now I look at them far more objectively. Like, I didn't used to look at them as being their consumer because, of course, they just give me free keys and shit for everything. Right. I looked at it as I was more of a beta tester. I was a privileged user of their software. Whereas when you're a customer and you're paying down cold hard cash, you have that right to scrutinize, right?
Right.
And that's where I think the divide is. I think when you're an employee, you can't really be truly objective. You can be more objective than some people, but there's a limit. I mean, hell, it even said in our NDA at Microsoft that we weren't allowed to defame the company. We weren't allowed to say anything publicly that was negative about a product. We could bring it to their attention, but we weren't allowed to negatively impact it. Anything that we said negative about a product had to be vetted through marketing before we could officially say it, and even in the personal space. So like if I had a blog, I couldn't say, oh, there's a bug in Windows and it fucked everything up and everything. You couldn't talk about it unless you got it vetted and it was already in the media, and then it was okay.
I want to apologize real quick that I'm coughing so much. I still never got fully over that cold I was going through while moving. So now
I'm still dealing with the California thing. Like everything else is gone, but I just got a little bit of a runny nose.
Yeah. I want to answer some donation comments here real quick. One of the first ones was looked like a British pound here by Mason One asking you, how's your foot?
Oh shit! It's here. I'll show you.
Look, it's like 8 times its normal size.
I don't know. You guys probably can't see it on the camera, but that's a big, huge red, like goiter off the side of my foot there. It feels okay now. They gave me this medicine called allopurinol. And you take it every day, and it lowers your uric acid. But the doctor told me that when I started taking it, it could cause another flare up. So then he gave me a second medicine I was supposed to take at the first signs of a flare up. And I got everything all fucking mixed up in my head. And I took the medicine. The flare up happened. I didn't take the medicine until after the flare up happened. And then
You
it
were
didn't do
supposed to
it.
take it during the flare up.
Yeah, if you take it right at the beginning of the flare up, it should have completely neutralized it and stopped it from progressing. Because the other medicine basically temporarily like stuns your kidneys so they can't process uric acid.
I see.
It's like really bad medicine. You can only take it like once every 3 days or it'll kill you. But anyways, I forgot to take it, or I forgot to take it at the right time. I took it anyways. It didn't do anything but just make me feel like shit and give me diarrhea. No pun intended. No, just kidding,
I got a painful foot and a painful butthole.
Yeah, painful butthole and a painful foot. This sucks. But no, it only lasted with the new medicine and everything. It lasted about 3 days versus last time I think it was 11. So, and I shouldn't have another flare up. As long as I keep taking that allopurinol stuff, I should be good.
Let's see. Sword Dust says, glad to give money again for my ad block use or for my ad block usage for years. Also glad to see TechTalk back. Thank you, sir. He donated.
I can't even get donations. Full Screen still has not fixed donations on my channel. Like I'm going back and forth with them every day, and they're like, "Oh, they've identified the problem. They're trying to fix it." But apparently, it affected a ton of YouTube channels. So
I feel lucky
all my live streams this weekend. If you guys want to donate, you have to go use my little PayPal button down in the video description because the YouTube peoples are not very fast at fixing things.
Christopher Chin, wow, $20. Finally caught a live stream Jay hosted, donated $10 in 2 different shows Jerry hosted. So to make it even, here's your 20. Thank you, sir.
See, this is why we got to keep going back and forth. Like, well, they fix my channel anyways, because then everybody's like,
remember, you and I found that going back and forth was the easiest way to keep it fair for us, because then we weren't dealing with one channel getting hit with the taxes. Like, let's say I just went, let's split the donations, but I have to pay the taxes. You get it free and clear. That's Pup Shepherd, who seems to donate every single week, says, I haven't watched in a while live. Been working evenings lately. Support encryption. Hashtag support encryption.
Somebody's like, get better light, Jerry. I have 2 lamps in this room, and I moved them both to this one desk just to illuminate me. It's just the camera side.
They're also like really warm CFLs that aren't exactly good for cameras.
Yep. Like, should I just start like throwing stuff over them, like shirts and stuff? Like, here.
Nice slippers.
Let's see.
You got those at Disneyland when I was.
Yeah. Here, let's try that. Let's see here. I'll put that one on that one.
Jack Z Gaming says, Jerry, everything Apple Pro found a glitch to have unlimited tries to hack to open. Oh yeah, you have that. See, that's one of the things the FBI was saying, was that they're running out of attempts on that phone to try and crack it. Otherwise, the phone will self-delete. So they're worried about that right now.
Yeah, no, and I completely... Now, are they just saying they want them to disable the retries on that one device?
No, they want Apple to actually access the data.
See, I definitely wouldn't want them to like release an update saying, oh, everybody can have brute force on everything. That would suck.
Yeah.
Because you and I know we have to use 2-factor authentication on everything because everybody's trying to hack us like 24/7. So
I don't even use the text message one anymore because I found out that there's exploits on Verizon where you can intercept the texts on 2-step. So I
heard about that.
So I actually use voice now.
Yeah, no, I heard about that, and Verizon still hasn't fixed the shit. I read an article on it. They said, SMSs can be intercepted through some web API.
It's part of the CMDA issues, I believe. It's part of Verizon still being on archaic CMDA. Even though they've got 4G LTE now that they're using for voice and data, a lot of the back-end traffic still is going over CDMA.
Hey, does my camera look better or worse with the shirts over the lights?
You kind of look like a scary movie now. You kind of got a green... you look like Paranormal Activity.
Hold on. How about now? Is that better?
That's fine. Just leave it like that. Okay. Don't let the complainers get to you.
Okay.
Let's see.
Jay, I can't help it. Everybody gets to me, and then I get all depressed and don't make videos anymore.
Cannibal Suicide says, I'm building a computer case out of wood, shaped as an old-timey coffin. Any ideas on how to mount the motherboard tray? Maybe cut one out of another case. Get like a cheap beige box or something. Just that way you at least know where the proper spacing for the standoffs are. And then you could even screw the standoffs into the wood or screw it down to the wood. But I would cannibalize something, no pun intended on your name there, out of an old case for the motherboard. Cole L says, Jay, can we get some LN2 overclocking videos? I might. Storing LN2 is not something I exactly want to do here.
Do it. Don't be a pussy. Do it.
Yeah, I'll just get big O. I'll just get like, what is that? Like Ferguson or whatever to just come deliver big O tanks of CO2.
Dude, you want to see somebody do some crazy shit with LN2? That Travis Jank guy is nuts. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He when he was doing the overclock attempt at the Cooler Master booth at was it PAX? He was freaking dumping the LN2 in his mouth and gargling it around and having like giant plumes of smoke come out of his mouth. And I was like, how the fuck is that not like frying the inside of your mouth?
Because he's already fried all of the inside of his mouth. He can't feel it.
It's just a giant callus inside of his mouth. No, we were doing all kinds of stupid shit that he probably shouldn't have been doing. Like we were freezing candy, like putting candy down the LN2 and then pouring it through a screen on the floor, and then putting the candy in our mouth, and it was like sticking to the roof of our mouth and burning us and shit. It was horrible.
Jeez. Let's see. I got a couple more here. GeekMoto13 says ad block payment. Jay got my VRM issue fixed for now. Now the GPU is wanting to blow up. LOL. Is that an AMD
How do you fix a
GPU?
VRM issue?
Maybe a cooling issue.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. I'm coughing a lot now because I'm not talking a lot during the day. Let's see. Mash Rain says, I miss Tech Talk. Glad you're back. At Jay. How's the Trico? Have you gotten a hold of it? Well, can't you tell? No. No, it was a stressful time. The last maybe 40 days have been hell. Just it's not like anything didn't go my way with the move. It's just having to keep the business running, having to get the house packed up, having 2 kids, one that still had to get to and from school, trying to coordinate getting everything turned on and ready to go here, finding this place first of all, then having from the moment we found the place, having 4 days to pack and move to get into here. That way I didn't have to take on any additional prorated leasing and stuff at the other house that I didn't want to pay on when I'm not there.
Don't forget shitty internet.
It hasn't been that bad, quite honestly. I mean, it takes me about 35 minutes to upload a video, which kind of sucks because it's only 1080p. I would be okay with uploading, taking 40 minutes if it were a 4K. But whatever, it's not so bad. But what I was told by the charter guy here was that they are in the works on opening up a 200 megabit connection. The problem is that, because I made the comment to him when he was installing it, I was like, "Hey, you guys' internet speeds suck," and he turned around and he was kind of like, "Yeah, it leaves a little bit laggy." I said, "Your commercials advertise yourself as the fastest broadband in the area." I said, "You guys need to delete that commercial because you guys are just flat out liars." Like, I was totally teasing the guy.
Well, before starting this call, I got on. It said Comcast. I'm on Comcast internet. I have 1 megabit. So
yeah, but that's kind of the hotel
Comcast.
too, though. The hotel's divvying that up to the rooms. So anyway, he was like, "Well, what was your previous service?" I was like, Time Warner. He goes, "Oh yeah, Time Warner. They've got us beat by quite a bit." I said, "Yeah, Time Warner's got a fiber backbone." Then the installer, because this guy was kind of like a lead installer for the area, he said something interesting to me. He said that Charter Spectrum is on a fiber backbone, just like Time Warner. And then I said, "Well, then why the hell are you guys choking it down so much?" And he said that when they opened up the faster speeds, and they had the fiber backbone for the cable, the internet, and their telephone service, that they started having lots of stability issues in their server data center because their systems are old there. So right now they're having to literally update their entire distribution center for their service before they can really take full effect of that fiber. So that's why he's telling me it's going to be about another year, but they're looking at a 200 and up service for Charter. So it's kind of like...
Gotcha.
I don't know what
so their back end supports it. They're just their hardware infrastructure doesn't.
Well, their back end technically doesn't support it. Their mid end does. The communication between me and them supports it, but their servers are not supporting it.
Gotcha.
Right. So they had server issues. But I guess compared to other companies like Comcast and Time Warner and stuff, Charter's pretty small compared to those guys. So it's taking them a long time to get it up and running. But yeah, no. So the Trico got a little out of hand for a little bit there, but whatever.
Well, you saw how stressed I was at Disneyland. I mean, that trip ended up not going.
You were stressed till I got there.
Oh yeah, no, it was a lot better when you arrived. I think actually like getting away and going on some roller coasters and stuff actually helped. But that whole trip just in whole, like between the rain and the wind and the big crowds and everything.
But didn't you get to see firsthand just how fucked up the weather system is here?
It is so fucked up. Like that was, I go to Southern California and it's like sideways rain. And we're not talking like a little, we're talking a lot. And I'm like, I was walking around to every shop. I was like, you guys are liars. You don't have drought. What are you fucking talking about? And then like an hour later, the ground's dry. I'm like, oh.
And then the sun is out. Remember I was showing you, it was downpouring in the morning. And then the sun would come out, and you're like, "Oh, it's sunny." And then 5 minutes later, it's downpouring again.
Yeah,
and
we walked through downtown Disney. It was pouring down rain, or like the main strip was pouring down rain. And by the time we got back from that the one roller coaster, it was completely dry again.
Yeah, and like
the Matterhorn. We went on the Matterhorn.
Right.
I remember we got back and it was completely bone dry when it was still dumping rain when we left.
Yeah. Not even just the ground, but I showed you that flower bed with all the dirt. You touched the grass, and the grass and dirt was dry.
Yeah. No,
And that's
it's crazy how dry the air is there.
That's what I was trying to explain. Was everyone that says, "Oh, look, rain, your drought's going away." It's like no, because it's like hitting the ground and sucking right back up into the air as fast as it hits the ground. You know, I'm not even kidding. Sometimes the sun comes out while it's raining because it'll come in sideways. You can legitimately watch the rain hit the ground, and then you see it turning to gas immediately. So the ground is just looks like plumes of fog coming straight up. It's really weird.
It was just really weird. I was not expecting that. And it was cold all except for the last day it was cold. Like I actually had to go buy a sweatshirt in the evening. And I was not expecting that. Like I just packed shirts and shorts because I thought, oh, Southern California, it's gonna be awesome.
Well, to kind of give you the contrast too, just 2 days ago it was 95 degrees here.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't live in California. Oh my God, you poor people in California. I feel bad for you.
You know, I can handle the heat and I can handle the cold. What I hate is the fact that it doesn't make up its mind on which it's going to be from hour to hour. It's like, oh, we're going to be cold. Like earlier today, it was actually raining, and then the sun came out and it got warm, and now the clouds came back and it's cold and windy again.
Well, when I came down to Hemet to visit my dad about, I think it was about 3 years ago. It was a while ago. About 3 years ago, we're down in Hemet, and I remember it was almost 100 degrees during the day because we were out working on his dune buggy, and it was like I was dying. I was like, it's so hot. And then I woke up in the morning freezing my balls off because I left the window open because it was so hot. And I left the window open. I woke up freezing my balls off, and I look out the window, and the grass had frost on it. And by noon, it was like 80 degrees again.
Right.
I was like, how does that happen? Like, seriously, it's like that's desert, right? I mean, when the ground you don't have a body of water and the ground doesn't hold the warmth, so it just temperatures are like 10 degrees different every couple of hours. It's crazy.
Right. Okay, I'm going to catch up on some of these donations here real quick, and then we'll get to some non-green comments too here. Let's see. Matt K says, "Where do you get your source of music for your YouTube videos? Considering starting a channel, but don't want to get hit by content ID."
BitTorrent.
Okay. You like to use Audio Sprite?
Yeah, Audio Sprite's cool.
I use Audio Micro, but that's because I have access to the entire library through licensing with full screen. But that's not going to get you around Content ID. Content ID doesn't actually know who has licensing and who doesn't. It's just an automated thing, like you've seen Boogie talk about and you've seen the Nostalgia Critic talk about. I get hit by that every upload, or I was getting hit by that every single upload. And I was having to go through Audio Micro's support team to get those content IDs lifted before the videos ever went live, so I didn't get hit on monetization. What eventually happened was Audio Micro, out of good faith, whitelisted my channel, so I no longer got hit with those content IDs. So just know that even if you have licensing to use something, it's not a human that is going, oh, this guy doesn't have access to this audio content. It's gonna, we're gonna claim him. No, it's all automated.
Yeah.
Rich Campbell says, daughter's request for more Little J videos. I really appreciate all the help. Little J is going to be helping me do a video here for Kano. Kano contacted me about doing a video that's aimed towards kids, about teaching young kids about technology and getting them excited. And of course, when I read this email, I was thinking, wow, this is something I'm interested in. I'm a parent. I love tech. I was younger than Little J when I got started in tech and PCs. And what it is, it's a Raspberry Pi that they get to build. But they also have software on there that's written for kids. So you can hook up an HDMI monitor and a keyboard and mouse. So the little Raspberry Pi is your PC. And it teaches you how to program. They can even write little games on there by following the tutorials, like Minecraft type games and little side scrollers and stuff.
Yeah, it's more of like a visual building of code rather than writing code, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like
so it's like Lego Mindstorm. Like, have you ever seen Lego Mindstorm?
Yeah.
It's like really cool. You literally just drag logic blocks out, and it's like you can see the entire code. And people do sophisticated shit. I saw somebody at a Maker Faire made a 3D printer out of nothing but Lego Mindstorm, and it was like 2 rubber bands holding a hot glue gun.
Right.
And it was like, and they showed me the code, and it wasn't sophisticated at all. It was crazy.
So it's actually in that cardboard box right there. That's the Kano right there, and I'm getting ready to do that video with her. The request of theirs was to guide Little J in doing this video, but if I was interested in having her do the video, so of course I asked her, and she was like, "Yeah, I want to do it." So I think that's going to be a fun one. Hopefully your daughter will enjoy that. Indre Ju, I'm not sure how to say his name, says, "What fitment works best for water cooling plate covers like the acrylic one on the Titans and Skunkworks?" I'm not sure I understand the question. What fitment works best for water cooling plate covers, like the acrylic one on the Titans? They're specific,
Yeah, I
so
don't
I'm not.
understand.
I don't understand the question. I think he might mean that, like the ones in my system now that are acrylic on top. They're plexi technically. They're shorter than the acetal ones, which are full length of the card. That's just an
Yeah.
aesthetic thing on EK's part. It's not really a difference. So if you order a clear one, you're going to get the shorter cover. If you order the black one, it's going to be longer. That's just the way they did it for whatever reason. Javier Ramirez, I love all your videos. First time in a live stream. Keep up the amazing job. Thank you, and welcome to the live stream.
Welcome.
Looks like we only have a couple more here. Chris Barr says, Jerry, should I buy a DJI Pro 2 or two 980 Ti's? I game a lot with over 400 Steam games, but I love drones. It's a tough one.
That is a tough one. Get the 980 Ti's because you can't crash them into shit.
But there's lots
That's
of
my
videos.
biggest problem with recommending people spend money on drones. It's like inevitably, if you get a drone, you will wreck the son of a bitch. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I get that. Bo Kelly says, Jay, who makes the best radiator for water cooling? Dark Side, EK Water Blocks, Alpha Cool, or someone else?
Ford and Mitsubishi, hands down.
I don't know, GM Motors. Let's see. All three of those you mentioned are good radiators. I also want to throw in their hardware labs. A lot of folks will say that Dark Side is hands down the best radiator you can get. Another group of people will say that EK Water Block's new Coolstream is the best radiator that you can possibly get. Others will say that Hardware Labs are the best you can possibly get. As long as you stay with something that's advertised as being full copper, uses quality copper, I don't think you can really go wrong with any of those brands you've listed. Alpha Cool tends to be a bit dirtier than the other ones, and their pricing is good. But I would say Darkside, EK, and Hardware Labs do trump Alpha Cool when it comes to overall radiators.
How hard is it to clean out a radiator? I mean, can you just fill it with some kind of caustic compound and shake it around to get all the shit out, or is it like shit will just come out forever?
A lot of companies have a prep that you can buy. Like Primo Chill has a system prep. Obviously, Mayhem's has their very, very sensitive. It's actually a hazardous material that you can use to clean the radiator. But it depends on the manufacturing. I mean, Alpha Cool, sometimes you can clean them 2-3 times and still get flux coming out of the system. So it depends on just how well it was manufactured. And part of the problem I learned through the whole Mayhem's issue was that all radiators are not created equal. Neither are all radiators amongst the same brand created equal, because sometimes they have multiple sources for the radiators, right? They might have 2 or 3 manufacturers making this for them, and all 3 of them are using a different grade of copper or a different type of flux or a different amount of flux or just better calibrated equipment. Yep. So it really depends. You just kind of want to clean that shit out using at least a system prep, and you can find that stuff in the coolant and prep sections of like performance PCs. Something anyway, until you don't get any more gunk out.
I was watching that show, How It's Made, and they were showing how to make radiators for condensers in AC units. And they said that they couldn't use machines to fully assemble. Like they could bend the pipes and everything, but like actually like feed them through with the fins and the way that they were welded together. A lot of it required a lot of hands-on. And I wonder if that's the case with these computer components too. Is if there is a stage where somebody is having to to braze all the end caps, and it's like, one dude's really good at it and the other dude just kind of like derp.
Well, because that's what happens, right? You've got the inner side of the tank, and then the rows go through that, and then they're all welded on the inside, and then the outer side of the tank is welded on.
Yeah, so somebody has to do that. So depending on who you get is going to be the quality. It's almost like getting a Malaysian CPU versus like, remember back in the day, like the Celerons? It's like you get the Malaysian one, it'd like double its clock rate, and then you get the other one that was from, whenever Canada, and it
Costa Rica.
Went overclock at all. Costa Rica. Yeah. That was it. I remember that.
It's going to depend on the quality of, was it well, or was it soldered on a Friday, or no, I mean, there's a lot of variables there. Some guys will run filters in their system too after they clean it for a while and then take the filter out. I've never done that.
You know what they should have to do? Intel, like they test each one of their CPU dies, and whichever ones run at the lowest voltage with the highest reliability get the highest number, because a lot of people don't realize that the entire i7 series of chips are identical. They're all produced from the same die. And so, the ones that go faster cost more money, and the ones that don't, they sell for cheaper and put lower
Well,
numbers on it. They should do the same thing with the radiators. Be like, the dude that has like 15 years experience welding those things should put like a gold star on them. They should just charge $20 more.
it's just like metal welding, right? It's an art,
Yeah,
and you've got guys
it's totally.
that are like you would think it was welded by a machine or a robot because it's so perfect, and then
Yeah.
you got those other guys, and it's got like snot welds, you know?
People would pay a premium for that, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is like water coolers are some of the snobbiest people I know when it comes to that craft. Like everything has to be perfect.
Hey,
You specifically made me feel that way, Jay. No, just
yeah,
kidding.
you're right.
Jay's
And there's
nickel,
still
but-
things about my system that I can't stand right
No,
now.
no, but it's true. People that liquid cool their computers, like I created a liquid cooled computer, and I thought, I was happy that I did. It was my first one, and everybody was like, "Man, what a piece of shit!" Because I didn't use rigid tubing. The tubing I used was too long. The loop I ran was incorrect. I mean, they're like the most snobby people about everything being perfect. You'd think that crowd would totally pay a premium for like, here's Radiator normal, here's Radiator Elite Edition done by Javier that's been there for 20 years.
It's not radiators, but EVGA was the first company to start that with graphics card, but with the Kingpin edition by doing ASIC quality binning, where you could pay a premium to get an 80 plus versus a 78, 76, and 74 or 72, 70. I think it was
really?
72. Yeah. So it can swing $250, I believe, depending on the ASIC quality, which is kind of funny because ASIC quality doesn't always directly relate to better overclocking experience, which is kind of funny. But yeah, EVGA was the first one to try that. I have no idea how it's working out for them, but it's still on their website that way. And speaking of snobbery, here's a comment we haven't answered in a while. George LaRue says, "Remind me of how AMD is doing these days." LOL. Let me look up the AMD
What's
stuff.
AMD? What is AMD? You pull up the stock.
Well, NVIDIA just launched their earnings for last year, and they were 18% up in revenue versus the year prior.
Hey, just to be clear, though, I'm pretty sure that AMD made at least $23 last month.
And
at
14
least.
cents.
And 14 cents.
So let's see here. They are up 0.01 right now. A 0.53% increase on the day. Let's see. They closed at $1.91 per share. That's up. Remember, it was $1 when you and I looked at it a few months back. It was $1.
AMD is moving.
Yep.
All in that mail.
Hey, this is a very serious show, sir.
You know what's going to suck, Jay, is AMD is going to make some miraculous product and make some miraculous comeback and like overnight like shut down AMD, start making CPUs and just destroy Intel, and we're just going to be sitting here like, fuck.
We're going to be like, no, I called that one wrong.
Whoops.
AMD's market cap right now is at $1.571 billion. If you want to know how that compares to NVIDIA is at $5.5 billion. So NVIDIA is actually roughly 3.5 times the size of AMD when it comes to revenue.
Still, though, that's actually
AMD's
doing a lot
up.
better than I thought.
AMD's up. And last time, remember we looked, they were about to go under $1 billion when we looked a few months back. So they're up. They're up quite a bit right now.
Man, Sapphire Ed must be like really working overtime.
He's probably over there right now at PDX LAN, like doing a truffle shuffle or something.
He's like up on the table, like dancing, like, yeah, AMD, woo!
Well, everyone's banking on Zen, and Zen could hopefully revitalize the company.
Here's the problem, though. How many times does AMD overly hype? Now, everybody does it. I'm not going to say AMD's unique for doing this, but how many times does AMD hyped a product and it comes out and it's just kind of like meh?
Ever since the Phenom,
Yeah,
2008.
So I don't get why people keep getting excited. It's like, oh my God, Zen's revolutionary. I'm pretty sure it's going to come out. It's basically just going to be slightly faster than whatever's currently available, and then NVIDIA is going to create something that just beats it 3 days later.
Look, how many people remained diehard Clippers fans when they were the worst team in the NBA, and now look at them, right? Now look at them.
Yeah.
So, you've got your brand loyals, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. But if it wasn't for at least the brand loyals holding out, the company might have folded a long time ago.
No, they're at a place now where it's like, yeah, I think fanboys are keeping them alive. They're on fanboy power right now. They should just throw a party for them. Like all 75 of them can come down and have a free dinner or something for like keeping the company afloat.
Yeah, but the only thing that sucks about most of the fanboys that I've seen though, it's like they're very diehard AMD, but they're on super old equipment too at the same time. So they're not really like a current customer in that, the money that they've spent hasn't really gone to the company in anything recent.
You know
And
what I will go on record and say though right now is if AMD actually comes through and they produce a product, whether it be Zen or whether it be something else before they breathe their last breath, if they come out with something that's truly revolutionary and just completely fucks up the competition, I will 100% go and buy it. 100%.
I won't because I'm biased. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just saying that's how I'll prove that I'm not just like an NVIDIA or an Intel fanboy, even though I kind of am right now. But I'm just saying I will change in a heartbeat if AMD will just literally put something out that just really puts them in their place. But I don't think it's going to happen.
I won't. And do you want to know why? I won't right away.
Because someone's just going to give it to you for free?
Because I'm lazy. I don't want to switch everything over again.
I know, right? I know that's the curse of liquid cooling. And
Yeah.
I figured this out too, because even when I built my liquid cooled rig, I was like, man, I want to put some new GPUs in there, but then I gotta fucking clamp the hoses and drain the fluid.
Dude,
I'll just
come
live
on.
with the
Soft tubing is super easy. Once you go with a rigid tube, you just look at that and you go, nope, that shit's staying in there for a while.
I wish I had done a video.
Except I updated 3 times in 1 year with the rigid tubing.
The last video cards I put into my soft tube rig. It's just weird saying soft tube, but I had the 680 the 680 GTXs that I put in there to replace the 590 GTX that I had in it before. And I remember I wished I had done a video because oh my god, I would have catched it would have been Diablo all over again, right?
Sir, I want to correct you on something, and not the Diablo part.
Yeah, I know. That was intentional though.
Sir, it hasn't been, the GTX hasn't been after the number since the 200 series, the 280 GTX, or 285, 295 GTX.
You're not the only person to give me shit for that. I catch shit for that every time I put it in the topic and I put it before. God
the
damn it.
400 series and newer put the GTX in front of the number.
Okay.
That way you don't forget.
680 GTX.
You know what the last GTS model worth buying was, and I had one up until recently actually. That was that GTS,
8800?
the 8800 GTS.
Yeah, I remember that thing was a beast card. Yeah,
it was like the bang for the buck card if you couldn't afford the GTX 8800 or the 8800 GTX. I had an 8800 Ultra. That was that. Yeah,
wasn't it like $800 or $1,000 when it came out? The 8800.
I think
the big one. That was the GTX, right? The huge one.
The GTX or the 8800 Ultra was the big one, and I had that. And I want to say it was 750-ish.
Yeah, I remember I had a friend that had 2 of them in his computer, and I remember they were like the length of his case. Like, I mean, you had to have like a case that could support the damn thing. It was so massive.
What's funny is I remember when that card came out thinking, dang, the power requirements in this card are insane. And the other day when I came across it was like 2 6-pin. I'm like, oh, I guess that's not so bad considering I have my Kingpin, which requires 3 8-pin.
Dude, there's a guy on YouTube who still does videos. He does benchmarks of games, like modern games, on 8800 GTXs. He has 2 of them in XLI. And he actually shows that modern games at low graphics settings still run a decent frame rate on that card.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun to watch because he like plays like GTA 5 and shit on it on a card that had like a gig of video memory or something. And it's just 8800 Ultra. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So
Kyle Bose says,
well, fuck.
I think that's the best comment of the night. Actually, it's my sentiments exactly.
I like it.
True Rex WA says, Jay, thanks for the water cooling videos. My HTPC is on overdrive. I bought a shirt from Jerry for the 3 printing videos. Have a beer on me. Thank you, sir. And I know that there was more donation comments before that. I will get to them, but right now I'm scrolling through some of the commoners' questions. I don't know what else to call them. That sounded very snooty, didn't it?
The commoners' question.
That sounded very snooty. Wasn't intended to be snooty
That's Jay's poor people. I say poor people. He's like #commoners.
The common folk.
God, you move into a drug lord mansion in Southern California, and suddenly everybody's just a peasant.
I know when I watch TV, I don't know which living room to go to.
Oh my god.
No, the sad part is the upstairs family room we've not even used. I bought furniture for that too. We haven't even used it yet. I want to get the racing sim set up there, and I want that to be more like the movie room. Yep. So I want to have like movie posters, with frames on the wall, like nice like cinema posters. You know what I mean? We
wanted to do that with our room. Like we really wanted to do that with the room, just like put up all the little posters like above the headboard and everything with the projector. I think that would actually make it like, and then like put like the red curtains on the side of the screen and shit. I don't know, just stuff to make it look like a theater. I think that'd be really cool, actually.
Messin1 says, I want AMD to make some kind of a comeback and keep Intel on their toes. That's what I said on Monday when I did my impromptu live stream, like that hangout stream with you guys, was we need the competition because look, the last 3 generations of Intel, maybe even ever since the 2500 and up, the 2500K, 2600K, those i5s and i7s came out, Sandy Bridge, Intel has not made any leap whatsoever.
No, and they'll be lazy. There's no reason to.
Yeah.
Without competition, they would just be wasting money by releasing new generations of products because they're unopposed now. It's not like you can run out and get something faster.
The last major jump they made was when they went from the 900 series, like the i7 960 and all that.
Yeah, I had a 930. That thing was actually pretty beast mode. I love that processor.
The biggest jump they made in recent 5 years has been that to Sandy Bridge, because they got rid of the North Bridge entirely. And that was the last revolution they made in CPU and motherboard technology, period. And ever since then, it has been just this incremental stuff. And they keep fucking around with little things like, oh, we'll put the memory controller on the chip. Oh, we'll take the memory controller back off the chip. We'll do DDR4. We'll go from triple channel on X58 to quad channel on X79, little things like that hasn't made any serious improvements in the overall computing.
Yeah, somebody else actually pointed out something I thought was interesting yesterday on my personal Facebook page. They were like, "Why is it that AMD had a 6 gigahertz clocked processor years ago, but Intel still hasn't even ventured into 5?"
Because there's lots of reasons why.
But I'm saying AMD proved that the clock that you can achieve that clock cycle. You might have to sacrifice.
You can if the die is huge when they did that, but the smaller
that's
the
my
die
point.
got.
Why not? Why not Intel? Why not just build a ginormous fucking power hungry die? I mean, the graphics card's already eating like 1,000 watts of power. Fucking go for it.
But it's beneficial when you shrink the die. The same reason why 3D memory is such a big deal. It's like, okay, you move it from surrounding the CPU onto the CPU, and that trace reduction there increases the speed of the RAM. It's the same thing with the CPU, so they're shrinking it. The problem was the smaller it got, the more crosstalk there was around that 5 gigahertz frequency. So you're getting tons of crosstalk.
Oh, okay. So there is a physical limitation as to why they can't do it.
Right. So
I was unaware of that because so you're saying that AMD was able to achieve that because they basically didn't have anything on the CPU. So even though it was clocked at those speeds by today's standards, that would just be that would not work.
Well, when that happened, the die was so big. It was. I'm assuming here. I remember when that happened, but I remember what the die nanometer size was then too. It was much larger.
I can't remember. Was that like Sledgehammer or something? I can't remember what processor it was, but yeah, they did have one that hit 6 gigahertz.
Yeah, they also didn't have nearly as many cores either.
True. And I understand that. But the cool thing about AMD is they never. This is another thing pissed me off about Intel. Now we're all heading over to AMD's defense. Is you notice AMD always allowed all of their generations of processors to support multi-proc. You could buy a motherboard that was 2-proc, 4-proc. You could buy a consumer board that was 2 and 4-proc for AMD. But Intel did that for a while too. But then when they got to i7, they were like, fuck it. Or not even i7. This was
when they went workstation. Only workstation grade stuff got it.
Like Core 2 Duo. Around Core 2 Duo time, I remember, they locked it. Unless you went Xeon, you could not do more than processor. Yeah, I thought that was bullshit.
And the only company that made any sort of dual processor board for the longest time was the EVGA. What is that? The SR2, I believe they called it. They called it the SR2.
Yeah.
I believe that was an X79 board. And I hear that they might, and somebody asked Jacob this once. He, of course, he had a very high level political type of answer, and it was like, yeah, maybe it might come back. There's been some discussion, but there's nothing concrete of them making another dual CPU board like that. But Asus did, so and that seems to be working out pretty well for you. So maybe other people will. Yeah.
No, and that's just it. Is the whole Moore's law thing. I mean. If we have hit the speed that processors can go, we have to actually start moving out, and they have done that. That's why we have 8 core shit. They have Xeons that are 32 core now or something like that. I mean, I think that's logical, not physical.
I have to respond to Chris Barr once you're done with your statement.
Go ahead. Okay. Anyways, go ahead. No, I was just saying, since we're going out that way anyways, it makes more logical sense that you'd support multiple processors because then you can double and quadruple that speed without you having to create a new generation of processor with a smaller die and more cores.
What's linking the two processors together? Is it the OS?
No, it's actually linked together at a hardware level.
So the OS just thinks it's one processor?
No. Each
So
core is individual, and each processor is identified as different. But all it sees is one core and one thread. So a certain number of threads.
how much additional work then is it for the developers to have to develop for both of those permutations?
None. It's zero. If you develop for a multi-threaded platform, that's it. You're done. You don't need to know how many processors are in there. It doesn't matter if it's 2 threads across 2 processors or 2 threads on the same processor. As long as they are physical cores, the only attributes that are going to change is how fast the caching is.
I see. Okay.
So if you have 2 CPUs and you're working a program across all of the cores on both CPUs, then obviously there's going to be some caching issues involved that could slow things down, especially if you're doing crosstalk between those CPUs. But if you're just assigning a workload to a thread, it doesn't matter if the threads are on different CPUs or on the same CPU. They're both going to be the same from the programmer's perspective.
Got it.
Now, the OS does have to have something called a hardware abstraction layer that changes depending on how many processors you have, and that's at the OS level. But every freaking OS supports multi-core. It always has. Windows supports multi-core. Linux supports multi-core. Solaris, all of it.
Okay. Chris Barr says AMD is on console peasant money. I know I've talked about this before, but AMD is not making any money on the consoles. They bid that so low that there's no money in it for them.
And not only that, but the people that are making the consoles aren't even making any money on the consoles.
Right. It's all in the games.
Yeah, they lose, like, even Sony. The PlayStation 4 sold at a huge loss, and I think it's only recently that they started making money on selling the console, but we're not talking like a lot of money.
Right.
It's like a couple bucks. I mean, it's hell. I still remember when Xbox, you remember the original Xbox? The big X, the actual Xbox.
Yep.
When Microsoft was selling that, they were selling that at a $300 loss. Every single time you bought an original Xbox, Microsoft was basically paying $300.
Because they were hoping you were going to buy Microsoft Studio games for it.
That's exactly it. They wanted you to buy Microsoft Studio games, and then everybody started hacking them and putting XBMC on them and shit. And Microsoft was like, no, because they were like paying $300 for people to buy shit and like convert it to a pirating machine.
Yeah. Mr. Fozzie 41 says, "Hi Jerry and Jay. Love both your channels. For the time first time I stayed up to watch live, approaching 2 a.m. here in the UK. Oh, go to sleep, sir. And I got to be at the uni at 9 a.m. Oh, he's going to be asleep in class. This is worth falling asleep in lectures. What did I tell you? Keep up the great work. P.S. Jerry, more 3D printing, please. Please. And I'll be sure to donate when it's on your channel, too. Don't donate until his button is fixed."
Here, you can actually. If you want to donate, you have to go through my PayPal and my video descriptions right now until they fix that. But to answer your 3D printing question, at PDX LAN here with me, I brought my Ultimaker V2 Plus. The new Ultimaker printer has a new feeder and an Olsen block for the hot end. And I am loaning it to Puget Systems, and they're going to be 3D printing out stuff for all the participants in the LAN this entire 4 days I'm here. I'm going to put a GoPro on there and get some time lapse. And when I get home, I will be making you guys a 3D printer review of the Ultimaker V2. It's literally brand new out of the box here. So yes, there is a 3D printing video coming next week at minimum. And yes, I want to get the makerspace back up and get heavily back into 3D printing.
Okay.
Because I can't have that Joel Telling guy taking over.
Matthew Thompson.
Being all more passionate than I am.
The professional says he loves the videos. Keep it up, Jay. Thank you, sir, for the Starbucks, basically. Every $5 is a coffee. Matthew Thompson says, "Hey Jay, just want your input on upgrading to 970 or R9 390, considering drivers and all. Also, we'll be streaming at 1080p. P.S. Jerry's a dickhole." Haha. Okay.
Dude, just troll him and say R9. Just troll him.
I'm honestly going to say R9.
Why?
Because of the 8 gigs of RAM versus 3.5.
Oh, but driver issues.
You know what though? NVIDIA's drivers have not been like the greatest.
I'm not gonna lie, they're shit. They're absolutely shit. If you use SLI, if you don't use SLI, you're somewhat okay.
No, there's a caveat to that answer, and I answered that question probably 15 times on Monday. The problem with the 970 and the 390 is they're roughly the same price, and they perform like pretty much identical in games if you turn off any sort of proprietary technologies like GameWorks and NVIDIA. If you're playing games that really take advantage of all the GameWorks suite, then I would probably say go with the 970. Just know that you might start hitting VRAM limitations earlier than you would with the 390. Dang, I think I hear a screaming baby down there. But other than that,
okay, that's what wives are for, Jay.
The R9 390 for 8 gigs, though, I mean, it's a solid card for the price. You really can't argue with that. And I personally, if I was in your shoes and I had to make that choice and I could buy the one card, I would probably go with the higher VRAM on the 390 and ditch any of the extra eye candy that I would get with NVIDIA GameWorks.
Interesting. I was not expecting that answer.
You know, when I did that video, and it stands true today. When I did that video, I basically said it is much harder to recommend the 970 over the 390 than when the 290 was out.
Let me ask you a question. So, okay, let's say you have the 8 gigabytes of RAM. Have you found a game on max settings yet that's not SLI or 4K that will max out that RAM?
Yeah, Shadow of Mordor recommends
Really?
6 gigs. Yeah, they recommend 6 gigs
because like GTA 5
HD texture for the HD texture pack. I have seen GTA 5 on my Titans use as much as 5 gigs when running the 21:9 3440 by 1440p or the QHD here. And games like Minecraft can and do use a lot of VRAM.
Mods. You're right. With mods and stuff, I know you can. See, so I opened up GTA 5 and turned everything on. I went into graphics settings just for shits and giggles, right?
It's a sledgehammer.
I cranked everything up, and I still couldn't get over that 6 gigs. I got the bar to turn orange. It was like almost there, but with everything absolutely cranked, every setting as high as it would go. And the cool thing was, even at 1080p on a 980 Ti, I was still averaging over 60 frames per second with everything cranked, and it looked like real life.
But you just answered your own question. You were at 1080. Go to 1440 or higher, and then that VRAM skyrockets.
Well, that's kind of what I meant when I said excluding 4K, but I guess you're right. 4K isn't the next logical step.
No, it's 1440.
Then 20. What is it? 2650?
Are you thinking
2650p? God damn it! What is it? 2K.
2K is technically 1440p.
Is that 1440p?
Yeah.
Is 2K?
Yeah.
What's the 2160p? I had a monitor that was 2160p, the 30 inches. Remember, that was a common resolution for the 30-inch screens back in the day. I wondered if games ever ran at that resolution, because I never did. I always ran 1080p on it because it was the same aspect ratio.
I quite honestly feel that the Predator is going to change things, where we're going to see more people interested in like QHD ultra wides, like I'm using here, than straight 4K. This is about 80% of the pixels as 4K, so it's still pretty hard to drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not that into 4K for desktop. I'm totally into 4K for home theater. But not for desktop use, personally.
You need a big ass screen to make. Like even with my 50-inch screen, like my icons are still as small as my laptop.
Yeah, you still have to jump up that UI scale.
I run with no DPI scaling, but I will be honest, it is hard to read the text on a lot of things. Like in the browser, I'll scale it to 200% just because web pages don't know what the fuck 4K is. But the desktop, I disable DPI scaling because it's buggy as shit. Anybody that's turned it on will know exactly what I'm talking about, especially trying to use it with Steam and Origin overlays and shit like that. But even at 50-inch, it is hard to see shit. Like, that says something for 4K. That's why I don't think 4K is... I know it's out for, like you said, the home theater experience, but even playing games and shit like that, when you're sitting 10 feet away from the screen... Are you really going to be able to tell the difference on like a 50-inch screen between 4K and 1080p? I still question whether or not people can honestly and easily make that determination. I'm not talking like squinting at the fucker and looking at it.
When you come here, because you said you're going to come here in the next month or two, right?
I will come down there. Yes.
I have a 4K Blu-ray player and 4K remastered Blu-rays, which is still not true 4K. But it's as close as you're going to get until the actual 4K Blu-ray players are out. I can show you the same movie in 1080p versus 4K, even at sitting distance on this LG. You will see a difference.
You notice it, and I'm not talking like when they remastered it, did they fuck with the color and stuff too, or is it just purely resolution is the defining factor?
Well, remember, color is all going to be based on the panel, the type of panel. Like the OLED colors are very close to being like an IPS, in my opinion, when looking at it.
Oh god, the OLED stuff looks fucking amazing.
It can be super HDR if you want it to be, but when it's calibrated, which mine is, then it looks very lifelike, like you're looking into a window of the world rather than just
tones
being
it
poppy.
tones it down a little bit.
Yeah. I hate oversaturated colors.
No, but don't get me wrong. I don't like a miscalibrated display, but at the same time, just the fact that it's able to reach those colors, like I understand why they oversaturate the fuck out of it, because when you sit it next to another screen that even at max saturation can't even touch it.
You want it to pop. You want the show.
Yeah, it's like a 3,000 horsepower dragster, right? You're not going to win the race by spinning the tires all the way down the track, but god damn, it looks cool, right?
Right.
And that's what the LG, when I saw it, it stunned me. Like I went to video only and I saw they had the 60-inch curved one. Is that the same one you got? The 60-inch curved?
It's 64-inch.
64. Okay, this was a
65. Sorry, 65.
Okay, so this was a smaller one that they had, and I don't think it was your generation because this
I
was
believe
back.
it's mine's the EG9600. So it was their newest one before the one they launched on Super Bowl.
Yeah, so say one generation before what you had was what I was looking at. And I just was stunned. Like literally you looked at they had a Sony sitting next to it and they had a Samsung sitting next to it. And they were all playing the exact same content off an HDMI splitter box. And
Yeah.
I was just like, are you shitting me? Why does this LG just look so fantastic? The
Yeah, the
brightness
LG
is super even.
the LG looks so much better than the Samsung. Let's see. I want to respond to something here real quick. Macello Man says,
Won't even try.
Well, Jay, you're wrong. As a longtime AMD user, NVIDIA drivers are by far better, and better to maintenance in case of update. Well, Macello Man, as a longtime user of both sides, I want to say that you're wrong about me being wrong.
And as a 15-year senior software developer on the Windows ESC test team, I can tell you you're wrong.
They both suck.
They both suck. No, but hey, I will be the first to say that there were times where AMD actually had higher driver quality than NVIDIA.
Because they still had a driver team.
Yeah, they still had, yeah, exactly. Like you could go and find Fred down the hall and he knew what he was talking about. No, but there was a time when AMD, but as far as consistency towards the end, I'm talking like the last 5 to 8 years, NVIDIA has always had consistently higher driver quality. I mean, barring a couple really bad fuck ups, but overall their driver quality has been much higher.
What hasn't helped AMD in recent past is when they would, like, Crimson launch was kind of like it Crimson promised so much and it didn't deliver, which has kind of been like the reoccurring theme with AMD lately. It caused a lot of problems for people. People saw degradation in performance. They actually saw lower FPS all around, which I saw on the beta drivers. Technically, they're all beta since I don't believe any of them are WCL certified in the last 2.5 years. But does WCL certification mean anything when NVIDIA can just force its way through it? Kind of like Volkswagen Group was faking the emissions, right?
Yeah.
So,
for the record, both of them were guilty of that, though. One was way more publicized than the other, but they were both.
Yeah.
And not only were they cheating at the benchmarks too, but they were also fucking over WCL certification. Remember that little gem?
Yeah.
So Microsoft has something called WCL, Windows Hardware Quality Labs, and I worked on that team for several years. And they have something called the HCT kit that they run. Basically, if you create a piece of hardware, you would submit the drivers and the hardware to Microsoft for testing to make sure that the driver did everything it was supposed to and didn't fuck up the operating system. And they found a hole in it where you could literally just submit a passed result. Like when you ran the test binary would just return back and be like passed. And the software would just believe it. So the test would take like 5 minutes to run when it normally takes an hour to run. Nobody thought twice about it, and it would have a passed result. And somebody ended up digging into the shit and finding out that, wait, some of these tests are running for like a tenth of a millisecond and reporting a passed result when the test involves a lot of blocking and waiting calls. And that's when they finally started digging in and they fixed the test because it was an exploit. But the fact that companies were actually exploiting it means that somebody had to internally leak. Like somebody had to, because they don't run the tests. We ran the tests. So who the fuck leaked that this is how you create a driver that basically just fucking lies? Like you say, driver, go do this. And the driver would be like, I recognize the HCT tool is calling into me, so I'm just going to say pass.
Mr. Pickles says, why is Jerry cursing so much? What the fuck does it matter to you, Mr. Pickles?
I'm not fucking cursing too much. I'm just saying a couple shit. God, leave me the fuck alone. God, come on.
He's cursing a lot because we're live.
It's tech talk. On tech talk, I tend to be a little bit. And plus, I'm not home. I'm in a hotel room, so my wife can't punch me in the face, and Xander can't hear me. So yeah. So you just simmer down, calm your tits.
Unless they're watching.
Yeah, I didn't think that through today. Oops. Luckily for me, my family is not my biggest fan. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, that sounded bad. Aww.
I know, right? My wife has no idea what I do on the internet.
I know.
Anyway, she's like, he makes
playing
computers.
video games.
He gets on the computer and talks about computers, and money shows up. I don't know how this works.
I just want to say one thing really quick, Jay. If you were offended by cursing, you do not belong on the internet.
Stop casting spells. Jeez. That was such a dad joke.
Oh my god, that was the nerdiest shit I've ever heard all night. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm mainly just cussing a lot because, just like Jay, he's had a rough couple of weeks. I've had a couple rough weeks myself, and I'm coming off of it, and I'm happy right now. So
I'm happy though that the house is like 95% unpacked and in its place. I think that's a hell of a feat for being in here for 17 days and having the house look like if you walked in right now, with the exception of the one of the front rooms, Because remember, this house has 2 dens and 2 living rooms. That's a lot to try and figure out where things are going to go, especially when you don't have furniture. A drug den? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I conduct my business. Anyway, when you first walk in, the playroom is on the left, and then on the right is the front office, technically, where the wife's computer is going to be, and little Jay's computer, and there's going to be a TV in there, and like a craft table and stuff, just where they can go do crafty things. That's not completely put together yet. But the rest of the house, you wouldn't walk in and think they just moved in, which has been a hell of a feat. I even got my garage organized. I didn't show any pictures of that yet, but I bought a Craftsman rolling toolbox. I've never had a big toolbox. Ooh. I bought enough tools to fill the damn thing because Nizzy lives in the garage now, and I'm like, damn it, this is going to be my car shop. And so I got super anal about the way that was all organized. My wrenches are all like perfect order. Yeah, anal and lube. Anyway.
Hey, by the way, I'm stealing your IKEA leg thing that you stole from what, Steve? Is that who you stole it from?
I stole it from Paul, who stole it from someone else, who stole it from someone else.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be like the 18th iteration of theft here and do that because those legs look badass, dude. The butcher board thing with the legs, that's a great idea. It's
a little bit flimsy in the middle, in that it does have a little bit of a bow to it.
James said I had to stop talking and listen to you, Jay. So I'm just gonna stop talking and listen to you.
Jerry never listens to me, ever. Like
guys, I'm on a 1 megabit connection. I have like a full second delay. I can't walk on Jay.
Jerry's hearing me 5 minutes later.
Yeah, seriously.
Let's see. Christian Hunter says, "Hey, this is for Jerry. When do you think you will update your intro because you still have your old setup in the background?"
Oh, yeah. When I do a new room tour, which will probably be sometime when I stop being a hoarder.
When I do my new room tour, when I move. Let's see.
Yeah, everybody's like, you should do another room tour because my room tour got like over 2 million views. I didn't update it when everything's sorted out. It'd be like, yeah, well, not really.
Okay.
I mean, now I've got the screen. Well, actually, yeah.
No one cares about your screen. Frozen Tech says, this is a question for you. I hear Jerry has 3D printers, but no Delta 3D printers. Be jealous of my Rostock Max V2 and its 30 inches build height.
No, Deltas are for poor people. I'm just going to go on record and say if you have a Delta, you're poor people. I'm actually just saying that because I don't have a Delta. I actually think Deltas kick ass, and I'm working on getting a hold of one. I'm already talking to, was it CME CNC? The guys that they're supposed to be building one that could do a 36-inch build height. So I'm excited about that. I'm also getting a G-Max, too.
Jinzo Defiler posted 7 words you can't say on TV, and I'm not going to say them on the internet either.
Do it.
No,
do it, Jake.
It's my channel. You know,
I live word in there. That's the only word I can't say. You will never hear me say the C word.
Yes, 2 of them are in there. Anyway,
okay, I'm not allowed to say the C word, guys. So just so you know.
Look, this is how much Jerry and I love live streaming for you guys. I can't speak for Jerry when he's on his channel doing the stream, but on mine, I can guarantee you every time I live stream, I lose more subscribers that day than any other day because I'm live, I'm raw. And this is WWE. No, wait, that's the wrong. Anyway, because I say what's on my mind, and you know what? People don't like when you say what's on your mind.
They don't.
You know, because we live in the pussification of the world age right now.
Yeah, we literally. I mean, we've done so. You know, I can go on record and say we've pissed off more people that have been like in both of our phases, not just one or the other. But I think consistently we've pissed off more people with Tech Talk than anything else we've done.
Because Tech Talk inevitably always turns into gun talk at some point.
Gun talk or car talk, which...
Yeah. Oh, speaking of car talk, Josh Town says, "Hey guys, I'm getting my first car and want to get something pretty fast and something with potential for track racing. His budget is $3,000. You need a bigger budget if you want to do what you said you want to do. But if I wait until the summer, I could spend more and get a WRX. My question is, what would be the best car that can easily be found in my price range? I have looked at E30, rear-wheel drive sucks in the snow, but it's still fun. Eclipse, I'm going to tell you to stay away from that. Hard to find it with a turbo. It's going to be GST or GSX. Stay away from that. Saab 9-3, unreliable.
I wouldn't go with that.
This is proving to me more challenging than I thought it would be. Well,
you know what you should get? A Honda CRX. Put a turbo in it, which you can buy a turbo kit for that thing for like $1,500, a non-intercooled turbo. And I happen to know somebody that won 2 classes above him 4 years in a row in SCCA running one of those.
Because the car weighs like 1,800 pounds gutted?
It weighs nothing. Like the car with like 150 horsepower beats like Porsches around the track because it can carry all of its speed through the corners with wide tires. You put wide sticky tires on, it's like the ultimate track car, and you can find one of those for under $3,000 all day long.
I have to wonder how much extra money he could get if he waited till the summer, because $3,000 is nowhere near having the money to buy a WRX. So
No, not
he's
even
going to need
close.
at least 10 grand to get a WRX that's worthy of being track ready.
And the problem with WRXs is they're shitty track cars. Like right off the bat, you have to do a
Yeah.
lot of suspension work to correct the understeer if you're going to make it a track car.
He's not going to like my honest opinion here.
Just don't get a Nissan. Like whatever you do, don't get a Nissan. I hear those
Nissan
suck horribly.
He's not going to like my advice here because this is going to be the parenting advice. Are you ready? I think you know
Let's
where
hear
I'm going
it.
with this.
Let's hear it.
You are not ready to get what you want for a first car. Your first car is not going to be the car you want. It's going to be the car you can afford, that gets you to school, that gets you to work, to earn the means to get the car you want.
That's true.
People give me a hard time for buying a 350Z and a 370Z in the same year. But you know what? I waited 10 years from when I had my last race car till now.
How much was your first car? Your first car that you ever bought with your own money, how much was it?
First car I ever bought?
Yeah, your first car that you bought. Not like if your parents gave you like one of their hand-me-down cars. What was the first car that you bought with your own money?
A 1990 Camaro RS.
And how much was it when you bought it?
$2,700.
See that which is barely within his price range, and that was how many years ago?
That was in 2000.
So the equivalent
99.
now is probably like $5,000, like to get something equivalent. So my first vehicle was a 1976 Ford Ranger with 280,000. Oh no, sorry, 76 Ford Courier with 280,000 miles on it that I bought from my grandpa for $500, and it almost killed me like 3 times. So your first car should be something that you basically have to keep a hand on the handbrake just to make sure that you'll be able to stop because shit's going to fail.
My first car, like I said, was an 85 Ford Ranger 5-speed that was... the engine didn't run. My sister overheated it and blew the heads, and I had to fix it all myself.
I had a 1990 Ford Ranger XLT extended cab.
Ooh.
That was my second vehicle I got.
The 90 looked just like the 85, only it had the slightly newer front grille.
Yeah, they all fucking looked the same for like years.
Yeah,
I loved it though. It was a good truck. I mean, other than it had problems with the transmission, but other than that, it was good.
That thing had like a whopping 70 horsepower and the 2.5 fuel injected.
I think mine actually had a 2.5 in it too, and yeah, it was the gutless wonder. It wouldn't do more than like 65 miles an hour downhill with the backwind.
Yeah. Quite honestly, this dude's first car is going to end up being something like a Honda Civic or an old Accord, something reliable. It needs to be something reliable.
Get a Honda. Honestly, like you can find them cheap, like old Hondas. Fix them up. They're easy. They run forever.
Don't get one that someone else has taken and riced out and has stepped up to a better car. Get it like an unmolested Honda. Seriously.
My dad bought, what was it, an 85 Honda Civic hatchback. And that damn thing is still running today, and he's rebuilt the motor in it twice. And each time he rebuilt the motor, I think he did it in his garage, and it cost him like $180 for a rebuild kit. And I think he lifted the motor out of the car, the little 1.5 liter. He lifted the motor out of the car by himself. Like he just detached the transmission, like lifted it and put it on the bench. So that's the kind of car you need. You need something that costs like $30 to fix if you completely blow the whole thing up.
Yeah, and that's kind of what makes having the Z now nice. Although you drove the 370, that thing's going to last a long time. It's not like it needs any work. But
that's a great car. That car was fun to drive. Like legitimately, I like the seating position in it.
When I got back into cars this year, I had been out of cars for over a decade, and I've watched everyone around me have their fun cars, and everyone, I was super jealous of everybody. But I knew getting back into cars that I had to be able to afford to repair or fix anything that I got. And the next thing I wanted to say to him there is he says he wants his first car to also be track ready. You never want to daily drive your track car, in my opinion.
No.
You should never take a car to the track, one that's not fully paid for, and two that you can't afford to completely wreck and just write it off. Because that's all a part of the risk you take when you go to a track. Even if it's not, plus, you could have that guy behind you whose brakes fail and take you out mid-turn. Anything can happen, No,
and like he was talking about a WRX. You want to talk about expensive parts? WRXs share like the Brembo brake systems and shit on those cars are. You end up paying Porsche prices for WRX parts. It sucks.
Well, fortunately, the Brembos on the WRX and the 350 were very similar, and they weren't too bad to service. But if you're going to go to the track, you're going to go through at least an entire set of pads.
Yeah, and a set of pads costs like if you want to get, what is it, the semi-metallic race pads or whatever. I mean, you'll spend $500 on a set of track pads.
It's like $250 for front, $250 for rear kind of
thing. Yep, and you'll burn them all up in one good day at the track. Like I completely smoked a brand new set of pads. They didn't have 2 months on them of street use. I took them to the track, and they were literally squeaking on the car on the drive home.
Yeah.
Like I took all the pads were gone, and that was in 126 miles. That's how many miles I drove on the track that day because I reset the odometer. But I was like, that's yeah, you will burn shit up, and it's expensive. So if you go to the track, like you can do different levels of track day though. That's the other thing too is
Time
you can
attack
go
would
out
probably be the
different
best way
groups.
to start.
Yeah, if you go out like the one that I did at the Ridge was pretty cool because you could basically go at any pace you wanted. You just if you wanted to go slow, you cut to the inside and you let everybody pass on the outside, and it was pretty mellow. You didn't feel like you were being pushed. You could go along at your own pace, but even so, you end up getting confident.
Well, like Streets of Willow, which is that track that you saw from the sky.
Yeah.
That is when you go there on like open track day or time attack or whatever. That's a no racing day. That is no racing. You have to go through. At least before you get registered at the track, you have to go through a small class where they talk about hand signals and wave bys and when to do it, where to go when you're doing a wave by.
Same at the Ridge. You have
It's
to have
no
a
racing.
hand out the window before people can pass you. If they pass you and you don't have a hand out the window, they flag you.
Right.
So they did have that, but it's like I pretty much just drove with one hand with my arm out the window because he's like the Porsche Club was out there that day, just like flying by me.
Yeah. Christian Hunter says, "Is this even Tech Talk anymore?" He donated $1 to say that. This must be his first time here.
Yeah, seriously, this is tech. Cars are technology, like aren't they?
Mr. Beto9 says, "Hey, I'm getting a Lamborghini Countach 5000S. Do you have any recommendations for any mods for legal drag racing?"
Yeah, no, I think you should put some Tane coilovers on it and in a cardboard splitter.
Teen bases coilovers.
Put some cardboard sway bars on that bitch. Come on, and a short shifter. Make sure it's got a short shifter. Lambos handle way better with a
And
short
put
shifter.
a bigger wing on top of the wing.
Yeah, double wing.
True Rex WA says, "This is for using ad block. Check your Twitter feed for @TrueRex. Home theater PC photos are in there. I'll check them out, and if they're cool, I might even retweet them."
No.
Jerry, didn't you get an SLI 3D printer to review? What?
Yes, SLA.
He put SLI.
Did he? Yeah, no. It's I have two 3D printers next to each other printing the same parts. Technically, that's SLI. No, no. I have an SLA 3D printer. It's the Pegasus 3D from Full Spectrum Laser, and I haven't reviewed it yet because when we originally took it out and we were working with it, I was running into some problems, and they troubleshot all the problems with me, and we got through it. But then I just ran out of time, and long story short, it just got put on the back burner. But I did print out the test print on it. I just haven't done a video yet because it is a little bit of a pain in the ass to work with. Because you're working with like this gel like material that's like oil, and if it gets on your hands, like nothing takes it off. It's pretty crazy shit. But the print quality on it is insane. So I absolutely do want to do a review on that because it's stupid expensive to use to operate because the material is about $100 to $150 a liter of material. It's stupid expensive, but oh my god, if you saw the resolution this thing could print in, it could print like my wedding ring with all the gemstones on it. Wow. It's like an FDM printer couldn't do that.
Wyden Nick Z says Audio-Technica ATH M50X versus Bose Quiet Comfort 25. I've never worn the Bose Quiet Comfort 25. I'm wearing the ATH M50Xs right now. Bose is going to be more about trying to create a sound stage that's going to enhance your music, whereas the M50Xs are a studio headphone, a monitor headphone. What that basically means is it's trying to be highly accurate.
They're going to be honest, is what they are.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not going to be punching the bass. They're not going to be enhancing the highs. They are going to be like completely flat, pretty much, reproducing the sound as accurately as it's sent to it through the signal that's being sent to it.
Yeah.
So think of these as like IPS panels. They're going to be super accurate with colors, but fairly low performance in that, if you're listening to like bassy music or dubstep, they're not going to be, punching really hard. The Bose, I want to say, are going to do a lot of synthetic enhancement to the sound. Would you agree with that?
Bose? No, I would. And the thing is, actually, there's some music that I listen to, and sometimes when I listen, I love the way that Bose does it. Bose actually does create a pretty cool sound profile, but it's definitely not an honest profile. If you tried to mix music or mix sound wearing a pair of Bose headphones, it would literally sound like shit on everything else.
Yeah, yes. I learned that the hard way in the beginning when I had my channel. I was putting like gaming headphones and stuff on and editing my videos and changing the audio parameters based on the way they were being reproduced in like gaming headsets, which suck for the most part. And then playing back my audio on like my phone or something, thinking, man, this audio is terrible. Then I started using monitors.
No, I did the same thing, except for with headphones. I that little mixer board that I have. I turned up the bass on it because one day I was listening to dubstep and I just wanted to like really push my sub hard and I forgot to turn it down, so I had the bass curve really high
Right.
on the mixer. And so I'm editing my video and I'm like, why does my microphone sound like I sounded like Barry White? So what do? I add the bass filter in Premiere Pro and drop off 5 dB of bass and upload the video to YouTube, and everybody's complaining in the comments as to why I sound so trebly.
Freeze S says, I'm sorry, but the M50Xs are not flat at all. Well, I'm sorry, I'm wearing them and I think they're flat. So that's what I have to say
so
about
what
that.
are you going to do? Come at it, bro.
But they can reproduce the sound really well. Like, for instance, right now, if I just crank the bass on this microphone and be like, bassy, bassy. Anyone with subwoofer going right there probably just started shaking their house. But
You
yeah,
just gave somebody an orgasm, Jay.
but it does reproduce the bass, but it does it very accurate. What I'm trying to say is something like Beats by Dre is going to intentionally promote a lot of bass and a lot of really highs, really crisp highs like tweeters and stuff. They're gonna lack in the mid range. Every Beats by Dre headphones, even the studios I've listened to, I thought were just I don't know the word I'm looking for, but they didn't feel, like you said, honest.
You know what makes me sad though about Beats is that my wife loves them. Every pair of headphones, I even let her listen to the Sennheiser HD 800s, which were Sennheiser's flagship headphone like a couple years ago.
What kind of music does she listen to?
She listens to a lot of like rap and bassy music.
That's what they're tuned for.
No, but that's the thing is I've let her listen to like, and she'll listen to like even like Taylor Swift and stuff, but even the pop, it has a lot of bass response on it.
Mm-hmm.
And God, I cannot get her to agree. The only headphones she's ever tried of mine that she liked almost as much as the Beats by Dre were the Phoenix Aria headphones that I just got.
Mm-hmm.
Those actually have a pretty aggressive bass curve on them. But it just makes me sad because I'm like, if you don't know anything about audio, it's kind of like getting a car that has like a spoiler on it that doesn't actually work. It's like, damn, that looks cool. It's like the same thing. You listen to it, you're like, damn, that sounds cool. But then it like fucks your ears up and like nothing else sounds right. Like if you listen, honestly, if you put on a pair of like Bose Quiet Comfort headphones or Beats by Dre and you listen to shitloads of music, every other speaker that you listen to anything on is going to sound like it's way over treble and way over mid.
Mm-hmm. Because
your ears will adjust to it after you listen to it for a while. Just like your eyes and light, your ears become to like crave that, and then you're like stuck with it. You're like, unless you suffer through listening to shitty headphones for a while, you never lose it, and you just crave that bass. It's like a drug.
Yeah.
Yeah, drives me nuts. That's why I don't.
So many people are freaking out. Like, your wife listens to rap?
Yeah.
I cannot see your wife listening to rap. I really can't. I'm
Really?
gonna see her walking down.
No, she's not listening to like NWA and Two Live Crew and stuff. But like pop and R&B
Boats
and stuff
and
like
hoes.
that.
I don't
But
know
no,
why.
I'm not even joking. She had a
seem
DMX
like that.
CD, okay? So just imagine, like, DMX is pretty hardcore.
I imagine the opening scene from Office Space. She's in the car with the windows down.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Where she's like turning the radio down as the guy's like walking by. Oh my god!
Like mumbling under her breath, like the words to the song.
You guys have to realize my wife has a very kind of innocent persona that's like her public facing persona. But trust me, to live with me for, let's see, how long have we been together now? 16 years we've been together. 12 married. You have to know she's a little damaged to be with me. Come on, guys.
I feel like I've been around your wife enough now to where she starts to make the innuendo jokes towards me, and it's like
she does.
It's like, whoa, I didn't expect that. I wasn't expecting that. Well played. Well played.
No, and you've experienced, like, she's got a sass to her too. Mm-hmm. Like if you say something she doesn't agree with or something like that, she'll come at you, but she doesn't look like the type of person that would do that. So it catches you completely off guard.
Well, I don't remember what we were talking about, but I remember this very clearly, and I wasn't offended. I actually thought it was hilarious. One of the first times I came to visit you, I was sitting at your dining room table, right? And you cleared off the table. You're like, wow, we've never sat at this table in like the last 6 years or something like that, right? And I'm sitting there,
poking each other.
Yeah, I'm sitting there, and she's cooking on the stove, doing her thing, and you and I are talking about something, and I can't remember. She's piped up out of nowhere and was like, well, that's because that's stupid. That's why. She's just like, out of nowhere was like, well, that's stupid. And
no, I remember that. Yep.
I remember I said something. She was like, well, that's just because that's stupid. So.
No. I do remember that. Yeah, she's very blunt.
You wouldn't expect it. Yeah, you wouldn't expect it. My wife is kind of the same way too, right? She's really sort of innocent, but not. And my friend just bought a Mini Cooper S, and everyone's been giving him shit, even though it's a Cooper S, it's a turbo. He's he's been getting a lot of flack for having a Cooper, and I went with him to pick it up because he needed a ride to the dealership. And I'm sitting there. We're sitting there at dinner. It's just him and I, and I'm texting her like, "Hey, I'll be home soon. Traffic sucks. We're stopping to get food." And she was like, "What do you get? What do you get?" And I was like, "Oh, we got a Mini Cooper S." And she replies back like, ... Tell him I said that's a girl's car. And it was like, okay, Jennifer, that doesn't seem like the kind of thing that you would normally say. You normally be like that very polite routine. But I took it a step further and said, the wife says it's a girl's car, and then I basically said, at least it's not a VW Bug. You know, it could have been worse.
I actually like the Cooper S. I drove one once, and I was pretty shocked at how much torque that little sumbitch had. The little supercharged one.
The 2007 and plus are turboed.
Well, I haven't driven one in a long time. The one I drove was supercharged because it had that really wicked whine. But God, did that thing go like stink?
Through 2006, they were supercharged. In 2007, S and up is turbocharged, and it's the tiniest. It's the tiniest little turbo. It is so teeny. And when
the motors in them are what, like 1.3 liter or something? They're baby little motors in these things.
1.8, I think, 1.8 or 1. Maybe
or like
1.5.
People also think like the Mazda Miata is like a chick car, right? Mm. But I drove in a Mazda Speed 6-speed Miata once that was turboed, like factory turboed. That car was fast as shit. I mean, that thing was so fast.
So people like to forget all the time about power to weight.
Yeah. No, the Miata, I'll tell you what, well, the Miata meant business, the Mazda Speed Miata meant business too, because it came with a roll bar. It actually, the soft top had a roll bar in it. So you knew that they were like worried you were going to flip that thing in a hairpin. But no, that was crazy.
I'm curious about the curb weight of the Mazda. The Mazda's curb weight is not showing up right here. So it's a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder turbo.
3-cylinder? Wow.
It's a 3-cylinder. I could have sworn it was a
Eric
4.
Hobbs is in here, by the way. He's right across the street at the LAN right now.
Cool, man. What's up, dude?
Yeah, I'll see you here in a few minutes, buddy.
I could have swore his was a 4-cylinder. His is a 4-cylinder. They must have different models because he has 4 coil packs on top of his engine, so they must have different. Let's see, 2007 Mini Cooper S, not Mini Cooler S, Mini Cooper S weights. I'm curious. 2,668 pounds. Now you look up the curb weight of my car, which has almost 200 more horsepower than his, and it's like 3,300 pounds. So
but still, 2,800 pounds? That's what a current Cooper weighs?
No, 2,668 to 2,844. It depends on the option.
Oh, okay. But even 2,600 pounds, God, where is it? That car you could like park in the back in like your trunk. They're not big.
They're made out of steel. I don't know.
Lot of safety stuff. It's just like the smart car weighs like over 2,000 pounds, but looks like a little itty bitty car.
How much does it weigh? Let me see. 1,800. Oh,
for the smart?
Smart cars weigh about 1,800 pounds. What's funny is the NBC picture is a smart car on its roof, like someone rolled it.
If you guys ever want a good laugh, like go look up what is it? Smart car Hayabusa on YouTube. It's the funniest thing you'll ever see in your life. It's like basically a car going down the drag strip with a turbocharged Hayabusa motor in it. I think it's making like 700 horsepower.
It's ridiculous.
And the thing literally the guy's just fighting torque steer all the way down the track. Like all the way to where he blows through the gate, the car is going sideways.
He's going straight and his wheel's like 90 to the left. Ah.
Yeah, like have you ever seen like the Supras, you know, the 2,000 horsepower Supras or whatever with the 3-speed power glides where they or the 2-speed power glide where they're like halfway down the track and the car never settles all the way through the end. They're just fighting the front end to keep it straight. Yeah. It's like that's what it looks like with the Hayabusa car, but it like does that all the way from the start. Like cuz the wheelbase is so short on it.
Drew Man says, "You guys seriously need some kind of moderator for this chat. This is madness." Have you never been to the comment section in YouTube before, Drew? You're just watching them be posted rather than them already being there. Okay.
I don't know. The chat actually looks like it's fairly tame right now.
Yeah,
I mean, except for the 2 people I banned. They probably didn't realize I have banning capabilities. Lols.
Yeah, because I made you a full-time moderator.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm building a new PC. Wait for PCIe 4.0 to come out. I don't think we're going to saturate 4.0 or even fully 3.0 16x anytime soon. Let's see. So Josh Town updated his question. He donated another $1 to clarify some things. He's the one who asked about the car. He says, "I really appreciate all the response. I should clarify, I am setting aside some money for small upgrades and repairs. Also by track, I mean on occasion, as realize it is very expensive. I may also be getting a job in an automotive shop, so that could greatly help me in terms of repairs. I don't want someone's old Ricer, and if I wait, I'm looking at having somewhere around $7,000. If you have $7,000, that's a much better starting point.
I'd still wait. Yeah, I'd wait.
quite honestly. Let's see here. There was another question I want to answer here. One last one, and then we've got to call it because you've got a LAN to get over to. And
I got a LAN to go to, man. I got to go over there and get my live stream on so you guys can all watch me go pew 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 pew.
Okay, Bo Kelly says, "Okay, Jay, I'm ready to pull the trigger. If it was your money, my money, which would you buy? Nothing. No. Which would you buy? Black Ice Nemesis 280 GTS Ultra Stealth UFlow Low Profile or EK Coolstream CE 280 Dual?
Holy shit, that was a longer name than a Starbucks drink. Wow.
I know, right? Okay, I don't feel you could go wrong with either. I think it's going to come down to aesthetics with those two because they're both are split fin design. They both are 280 reds. They both are full copper. They both are 30 millimeter thick, and they're both UFlow. The Black Ice Nemesis GTS has a kind of a concave look on the side of the radiator, which you can sort of see right up there. You see how it's kind of got that concave going in there. If you don't like that and you like the much more square design of the radiator, then I would go with the EK. I would really bring it down to that aesthetic, quite honestly.
I'd say just get the one with the shorter name so you don't have to remember all that shit. Holy crap.
Oh, man.
You're like, what do you got in your computer? Oh, I got the 4.7385972 GTX 935 liter with the hose.
With the turbo. Okay, last question, then we're gonna call it. We're already late.
Yep.
Damaraku HD says, Jay, please tell me why you don't use your Sennheiser 175s anymore.
Because your mom.
Because I finally put my mixer up here on the desk where I can get to it, and I've got my headphone plugged into that. And see, blah, 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 blah. See the little lights going? That way I can live monitor my audio. I'm not screaming into the microphone because I can't hear myself once I put on headphones, getting myself in trouble with the family. The last couple times I used them, I was getting audio cutting out on them. So something was up with the wireless, but that was pretty much why. Anyway, anything you want to say before we get out of here, Jerry?
I just want to say I am about to have an amazing 4 days.
I hate you.
That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to sit on my ass and drink and eat. And not drink because I have my fucking foot, but I'm going to eat. I'm going to play some video games. It's going to be fun.
This isn't Vector, right? This isn't considered Vector?
No, this isn't Vector, so
okay.
I guess I couldn't drink if they could. I'm not going to go to Vector, though, because I can't. Guys, in case you don't know, I can't drink anymore. Like, literally, I'm going to take that seriously. I haven't drank in probably a month or more than a month now because of my foot. I didn't even have a drink when I was down in Disneyland just because I'm done. Gout sucks so bad. I would rather never drink again and not have another gout outbreak or whatever the hell they call it, flare up.
So what game are you going to play, though?
GTA 5, I think.
Okay, well, mine's already installed. Okay, here's the only thing that sucks about GTA 5. Last time I was on there, you guys saying the online lobby was just like Hackerville. Like, literally just Hackerville.
I kind of noticed that when I was playing the other night, too. Like, I shot a guy literally in the face with a shotgun 5 times. Is there any armor in the game that should protect from that? Like, I think not.
Yeah, and the armor does build up pretty nicely. But what I'm talking about is people, like, I was turned into a shark. When I was in my garage spawned like one of those shipping containers in my garage, and it started like cartwheeling. Wait, that just registered.
You said you got turned into a shark?
Yes, I was turned into a shark. So,
oh my god, this reminds me. No, you were the one that was showing me the video of like, wasn't that like a thing Rockstar was getting in trouble for, like because people were like raping people in the game and stuff, like taking control of their characters? I think they fixed all that, right?
I doubt it. I was playing the fart sound. Sorry.
Let's just end on that. Jay got turned into a shark in GTA 5. I would pay money for that to happen to me. Like seriously, like just be playing a game, driving a car, and you just turn into a shark and like fly off the side of the road. That would be hilarious.
I wasn't driving the car. I was like in my garage, and all of a sudden it was like I was just a shark. I was like, what the hell?
Oh my god! Please tell me you were live streaming. Oh my god, I want to see that so bad.
I might have been. I stopped live streaming because live streaming was the incentive for them to fuck with me. So I didn't. Now they can all fuck with you. And with that, we're going to go ahead and run the outro. You're going to play. I'm going to hop in. Hopefully I can hop in a voice chat with you, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I've also got a couple other games. I got Battlefield 4 too, so we can always fall back on that, and you can do your little bullshit where you fly around the helicopter and fuck everybody over.
Battlefield 4. All right, rolling that outro.
Take it easy. This is Tech Talk number 102 coming to an end from PDX LAN Jay, isn't it?
I'm just playing the fart over and over now. All right, where's the off button? I forgot how to turn this on.
My God.
Oh, there it is. Okay, bye.
Bye.